In the hidden volcanic canyons, Charmander once lived in safety, the protection of older Charizard. But peace in the wild can disappear in a moment. Without warning, Hydreigon descended from the night sky. Adult Charizard fought with everything they had, but the attackers were too many and too cruel. Among the fire and falling stone was one small Charmander, too young to fight, too small to run far. His parents tried to protect him. His father made a final stand in the sky. His mother shielded him with her own body. Neither survived. As the last Hydreigon moved in to finish the child, something unexpected arose: an old Dragonite. Scarred, ancient, and powerful, the elder dragon placed himself between the helpless Charmander. The battle that came after was the last thing Charmander saw before he lost consciousness. When he opened his eyes again, the village was silent. The fire was gone. The battle was over. And he was alone. All around him lay the bodies of those who had tried to protect their home. His parents were gone. The Dragonite had vanished, but one thing had been left behind: a small pile of berries, just enough to keep him alive. It was not comfort. It was not rescue. It was a choice. Someone strong had decided this child should live. So Charmander did what many young creatures in the wild are forced to do. He survived. The days that followed were harsh. He searched frozen ground for roots and berries. He stole food when hunger left him no other choice. He slept in broken stone shelters and learned quickly that the world showed no mercy to the weak. Then, one night, during a blizzard, he found a cave, but he was not alone. Inside was a Cubone, thin, injured, and just as desperate. Both wanted the same shelter. Both had already lost too much, and neither trusted the other. They fought immediately. But their struggle brought the cave down around them. And in that moment, both understood the truth. If they kept fighting, both would die. So for the first time, they worked together. Charmander burned away loose rock. Cubone smashed open an escape path. They survived the collapse. At first, they stayed together only because the world outside was worse. They argued over food. They kept their distance. They watched each other with suspicion. But survival has a way of changing strangers. When predators attacked, they defended each other. When one stumbled, the other stayed close. And slowly, the trust that neither wanted began to grow. They were no longer just two lonely survivors. They were becoming a team.
One wrong step and the river would have taken Cubone. From that day on, both trained whenever they could. Not for pride, but for survival. Each climb, each fall, and each hardship made them a little stronger. By now, they were no longer two strangers sharing the same road. They had become partners. But for Charmander, survival was no longer enough. Somewhere in these mountains, the dragon who saved him still lived. Then the mountain sent another test. A ruthless Bisharp attacked them in a narrow, icy pass. For the first time since losing his village, Charmander felt powerless again. He was afraid of losing the one who stayed beside him. That fear became something stronger. And in that moment, Charmander evolved. Now a Charmeleon, he returned to the fight with greater strength. For the first time, he did not fight only to survive. He fought to protect. From then on, their bond only grew deeper. They traveled together, they trained together, and endured the wild together. In the wild, even food can build trust. Yet one memory still burned brighter. On a moonlit ridge, a savage Houndoom attacked. Its flames were brutal, and when Charmeleon was thrown back, Cubone was left alone. Shaking, but unwilling to fall, blue, ghostly fire ignited around his weapon. Grief became power. Cubone evolved into Alolan Marowak. Marowak charged first. Charmeleon followed this time. Now the two survivors stood side by side as true warriors, chase away Houndoom. Later, high in the mountains, Charmeleon faced ambush. It drove him toward the cliff edge. And at the very moment he was about to fall, Charmeleon evolved once more. He had become Charizard. The two Sky Ruler fight was brutal. Charizard slammed him to the ground with raw strength. Now he learned Seismic Toss. Fully grown, Charizard and Alolan Marowak continued north. Everywhere they looked, they found signs of dragon war. Claw marks in the cliffs. And Charizard followed these signs for one reason. He had never forgotten the old Dragonite who saved him. At last, he found him. Dragonite was still fighting, old, wounded, but still protecting others. A massive Alpha Hydreigon. Dragonite had already defeated many, but this last one remained, and it fought without honor. Instead of finishing Dragonite, it aimed at the children. Dragonite threw himself in front of them without hesitation. Even at the end, he chose to protect the weak. Charizard returned the debt by fell from the sky like a burning spear, grabbed Hydreigon's body without thinking, and then Seismic Toss. Charizard was no longer the frightened child from the village. Hydreigon attacked again, and once again it targeted the children. Alolan Marowak stepped in. With spinning blue fire, he shielded the young ones. Charizard looked down, not with fear, but with disgust. As Hydreigon gathered all its remaining power, Charizard turned his own fire inward. He forced it beyond its limit. His body darkened. Charizard became Charizard X. Old, dying Dragonite understood what he was seeing was suppressed the dragon power through suffering, a mighty one who should have been born a dragon. The final clash lit the sky. Hydreigon's dragon breath met Charizard X's blue inferno. But the two attacks were never equal. Charizard's fire tore through the darkness, and when it was over, Hydreigon was gone. At last, the battlefield was silent. Charizard descended slowly and back to normal. Alolan Marowak stood beside the children, keeping them safe. And before them lay the old Dragonite. For a long moment, the ancient dragon looked at the one life he had once saved. Then, with his last strength, Dragonite lifted a trembling claw. Approval from Dragon Leader, a final gesture. Then he was gone. A child once saved by a dragon had grown into something dragons would honor. Born from fire, forged by loss.